that just for a single comment, just for a single like, people spend their hours and hours keeping their eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
Just because of they want something from the audience, and every single thing is being exposed.
Yeah.
In terms of our all possible activities that we carry on throughout the day, our single achievement that we first goes to the post section of these digital world, to Facebook, other possible interfaces, WhatsApp, and everything. So these things, I think, are truly a cause of concern.
So the only way out, especially from these kind of habits, is to be making a promise to yourself that not big promises, because you'll fail and then you'll be frustrated, and then again you'll be turning to these devices
Right.
for for help.
Then you have to separate yourself from that habit. So once you have this realization of separation, so many people say you have to just do and several other possible things that how you can keep yourself aloof from this digital activities.
If you don't have digital presence, doesn't mean that the entire world has come to an end, right? And I don't think that we need to know everything about the whole world, what's happening in this world. We don't really need to know everything that's going around. Our life is not going to be affected if we don't know anything about this.
Right.
Ravan, welcome. First of all, just tell me, how are you?
All good, everything is fine.
Okay, and today we are talking about the technology which we are using today, right? Generally, what's the situation is that everybody is busy with their devices, and they hardly have any time for themselves and for other people, and this has become a big problem. Even parents are fed up with their kids, because always they are spending the time on digital devices. So is the case with them as well. So today, what we're going to talk about is a day without technology. So when I say a day without technology or with no technology, I mean that there has to be some time in our day when we are freeing ourselves from these devices, because somewhere they have stolen the time which we had at our disposal, and now we are spending that time which we could use otherwise, right? So now tell the audience that what do we mean by this a day with no technology.
Actually, we are going to discuss about digital detoxification.
Yeah.
So we know what is the current trend, that people are immensely immersed in this digital activities.
Yes.
And they somewhere have, losing themselves down on the
Yes.
realities, and they have more involved in virtual life, right?
Yes.
So in this way, it has become truly the need of the hour that first we need to get a quick realization of that what we are doing now and what is this which is causing us a great loss after us being so much involved and engaged in the digital activities. So after this realization we could take some instant actions to get a little recovery on it, so that we could invest that time saved from this digital involvement into something which is more worth productive or worth doing things. And this way, we really can make a big difference in all forms of life, because this is what is our need. And I think this has been truly a need of the entire world. I'm not talking just about India. When I talk about digital engagement, blind digital engagement, I include all people, specifically coming from West, East, irrespective of the caste or the creed. So this is what we're going to discuss on this part.
Okay, so first question which comes to my head is why do we need to try this digital detox?
Okay, let me first present you this quick data. We haven't heard before about deformation, disabilities, or mental dysfunction, or physical disabilities. Earlier being emerged, especially right from the birth of child, and this has become now a new case which is emerging out as a great threat to the civilization of the country or of the entire world. And if something has to be caused or something has to be blamed for this, then it's ultimately this digitization. I'm not talking about the positive feature of the digital world, which has really ensured some positive effects in terms of the economic development, in terms of the connectivity that's somewhere made.
Yes.
But apart from this, it has done something more we were not expecting in terms of in terms of bad results of the effects. For example, these days, people, irrespective of the caste, creed, as I told you, irrespective of the ages, they are now getting involved in digital activities more than their real life. And in this way, they are somewhere detaching themselves from the real time connections. Now, and this is what is causing them a kind of feeling of aloofness. And there are several reasons which we will try to talk in the later part of the video why people are getting involved and engaged in this in the activities. But what I'm uh, telling now and saying is that why do we need to have this digital detoxification is that to realize the very essence of life. I think due to this overwhelming indulgence in this digital activities, we have somewhere lost on the very track of life because life is all about observation. Life is all about living with the people's company. But something, all these things are missing out in the life, right? So if this could not be got back on the track by doing digital detoxification or several other possible mediums that we are talking and that we are discussing, then I think situation is going to be more, uncontrollable in the future time to come. And then it will be really difficult for each of us to manage because digital detoxification has become truly a paramount need for all sections of the people. Because if we don't do that now, then there'll be no tomorrow for us because we can see the growing separations among people, the growing effect of love and affections among people. It just only as an entailing or ensuing effects
because they are
of
connected to somebody else or something else while
obviously.
they have somebody at their by their side.
Obviously, I mean, it is causing several problems at the same time. So digital detoxification is truly the need of the hours, and we need to just have a deep discussion on it, not here, but across the people and cutting across sections of the country, because it's really, really important at this point of time.
Yeah, I've also seen that, see the amount of time they're spending, especially browsing the pages. And I've also seen one more, and this is really very, this is a cause of concern that see the attention of the people. They have got scattered attention. That is not at all, it has become divided. It has become, and then when you are learning something, you need to have, or you need to give your undivided attention to something which is, which you have undertaken. But because of this lack of attention in people, because they're always feel something in them that causes them, that urges them to check the notifications all the time. You can see, and when they don't check the notification, then they feel, restless. And this restlessness comes because we are too much in the habit of using these devices that we have lost control over ourselves. And this has really become a cause of concern, especially in today's youth. And not just youth is affected, even people of all age, right, groups. They are
Follows the footprints of parents. So
yes.
I will hold parents more responsible than
Yeah,
children.
because they themselves are setting example. And if they themselves are using too much of devices, too much of technology, why will they not be followed by the kids? They can themselves say, they themselves can say that because you're using too much, then why do you stop us from using it? Now, the question comes that how do you feel when you stop yourself from using this digital devices? Suppose you have taken a vow, you have made a promise to yourself that I'm not gonna check the notifications. Then how do you feel, and what do you do to curb this desire in you, so that you don't use the devices?
See, every habit uh, becomes a part of life over the period of time. So it is not just you adopted something and it became the part of your life. And when you realize that the habit is not good for your life and it is somewhere causing you a lot of problems in terms of your productivity, in terms of your overall growth of life, then you have to separate yourself from that habit. So once you have this realization of separation, separation. So many people say you have to just do and several other possible things that how you can keep yourself aloof from those digital activities. And I think to a certain extent it's right, but if you go on absolutely being very much harsh on you and you just try to quit every possible thing, so you just make a commitment, as what you said, that make a vow to yourself that yes, I'm not going to touch myself for the next 7 days or for a fortnight, then I think it is too much of a promise which cannot be, uh, vetted out. This is what I think.
Yes.
So make some short targets. Okay. So this is the first thing that you can do. Secondly, how we usually feel. See, we become restless because as the cell phone has become the part and parcel of our life, especially when we go out and even when we are sitting in room, if cell phone is missing, especially from our surroundings, we will feel that somewhere we have lost our lungs and somewhere it's causing us suffocation, right?
Yes.
So therefore, this very particular problem, which has been so much ingrained in us, that yes, this particular cell phone and the digital world, digital activities have really been a part of your life. And I think this is, I think, on each and everyone's personal life. It depends on each and every person's life. How do they take their digital life? Most of the people have this very kind of experience that the digital life is getting more, getting more popular, getting more excited, and getting more, full of fun. That's what you can comparing to the real life. Many people somewhere even think to be a part of the digital life rather than the real life, because they really don't get that compliments in the real life what they get especially in the digital world. So as what we have talked a lot several times, that just for a single comment, just for a single like, people spend their hours and hours keeping their eyes on the screen,
Yeah.
just because of they want something from the audience, and every single thing is being exposed
Yeah.
in terms of our all possible activities that we carry on throughout the day. Our single achievement that we first goes to the post section of these digital world, to Facebook, other possible interfaces, WhatsApp, and everything. So these things, I think, are truly a cause of concern for each of us. But as you rightly said, yes, how we can do this? So just take a slow step and bit by bit, and we can do a lot in this way. Yeah.
And the things which were supposed to be kept secret by people are being made public these days, just because they want validation from people. They want people to like
Yeah.
and to say something about whatever they're doing. And for that reason, they're always trying to please people, because this is how you can keep the people pleased, right? So instead of being a people pleaser, I think you should be trying to do something else which is going to be good for you. As you talked about, this sense of being responsible, the sense of responsibility, when they realize that this is not going to be good for them. But I think that somewhere they don't have this sense of urgency and responsibility. And that's why they find it difficult to realize that they're actually wasting their time and wasting their life, and they can do something worthwhile. I know, especially in the time which they are spending, unproductively. So how can people feel that responsible? I mean, because this also has got some kind of psychological issues. People have got psychological issues because of heavy use of technology. Because there is kind of a blue light which is emitted by devices, and this is somewhere affects your pineal glands.
Right.
And I heard a doctor, he says that when you use your devices, especially during the day, so you feel like it's night and you are feeling sleepy. Like you might have seen people, they yawn like this, and then and at night they think that it's day, so they are just going on scrolling the reels, and they don't even know, they don't even keep the track of time. How will they be able to realize this?
I think this is something for a realization. I mean, for example, if we see our cell phone and see it as a device, then we'll find it's just an instrument which helps us escape from realities. Many a times, since we're talking about psychological effects of using this cell phone and devices for over the time, then for this we need to understand how it is actually building up. I mean, we are living in a society where demographic, imbalance has been occurred. For example, nowadays people are uh, surging and heading towards that particular reason where there is a possibility of employment. So one reason which I find, which is really one that we must discuss, is that people who leave their families just for the purpose of employment and they get settled in some different parts of the world or the country, living far away from their own and kins, they somewhere find themselves lonely, right? They really
Yeah.
don't have that
Aloof
much,
from
obviously,
people.
from their companies,
Yes.
especially the kitten can and their close communities.
Mm.
And they really don't get settled up with people who have recently been a part of their life as a friends, because it's really difficult to build up a trust some on new people, right? In a short span of time. So they really find very much comfortable being a part of this digital friend or whatsoever you can say. Nowadays, number of virtual applications are there. So
Yeah.
people just go and install these applications and make friends on these
Yeah.
applications. For example, these applications also secure your identity, so you can play your just incognito role. And so you are given all possible, freedom and liberty that you can play the role that you want. Sometimes we are really frustrated out of our routine work. Sometimes we really don't get according to our expectations. This digital world, especially these applications, the virtual applications, come out and play a very crucial role, making us happy, making us, happy, or feeling us at least satisfied, associated on some points which we are not getting from the real world. So that's how people go and get connected with this digital world, and that's how they evolve much into this particular kind. Now, the question that you raised about growing psychological issues, as I told you, this digital world, this cell phone or device is also playing an instrumental role of escaping oneself from fear. Yes. So, for example, some people have fear of living alone, and some people have a fear of some
Missing
other
out,
nature,
missing
or
out.
missing out. Now, in this case, these digital, devices come out at their, at their disposal just to serve them, and people gradually pick up this habit of spending a lot of time with these devices without knowing that they are really being into it, and it's very difficult to get detached from this. By the time they realize it's almost
And
too
then
late.
then this habit changes into addiction.
Obviously, that's how the addiction develops, right from the first step to the point when they really don't get this realization. They have been accustomed of this all these things, but still they know that, but they have nothing. It means it's too late to mend the things. That's what I can say. And by the time they realize it, it's almost too late, and therefore they go and knock the doors of the psychologist, and the psychologist comes and come help them in a different way. But what I want to say on this part is that this is, I think, the overall a problem of the situations and the circumstances which is developing, especially in our surroundings. And it is not that we want to involve in this digital world just because of the situations are pushing us into this, and therefore we are feeling ourselves much helpless and becoming prey to these particular devices, having nothing at our hand except to be just doing a little bit, exercise on it, how we can reduce our habits or excess activity on the body.
So the only way out, especially from these kind of habits, is to be making a promise to yourself that not big promises, because you'll fail and then you'll be frustrated, and then again you'll be turning to these devices for for help. So I think making a promise to ourselves that I'm not gonna use the device for an hour. I'm not gonna even check the notifications, and then 1 hour, then 2 hours, then 3 hours, then 4 hours. And this isn't how you can decide one day without technology. And there will be a day then you'll be able to overcome this habit of yours, and I think you'll be mentally and physically very fit, because there will be no depression, right? People generally depressed because suppose I'm there on Instagram, and then I've got so many followers, but I've also read a news about a girl who just committed suicide because her followers were decreasing with every passing day, and she was so depressed because she was a hit, especially on Instagram, but something happened and she couldn't actually, I think, post any post for for quite some days, and then she saw that her followers are decreasing with every passing day, and then she couldn't handle it. She thought that she is not being liked anymore by the people, and that's why she doesn't have any purpose to stay alive, and then she committed suicide.
This is very
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So because a person can have this kind of mentality because they're so much used to it, and if they start detoxifying themselves, especially from these gadgets and devices, I think they will not have any such problem in their lives, and they will be you know free, right? So the next thing and the last point which we're going to discuss is, tell me, what are the takeaways from the whole discussion which we have had so far? What are the takeaways which audience can get and apply, implement in their lives and get benefited through them.
Okay, so there are few takeaways from my side on this particular topic, digital detoxification. Number one, that we first realize the importance of life. Until you make this thing clear to you, to yourself, it's very difficult to even check out where you are wrong and where you are right. So first you have a realization this that life is once and it has to be according to you.
Yeah.
The second thing is that the very basic problem that we are all facing, or this basic blunder that we are all doing, is that we are not able to make a distinction between the life that we live virtually and the life which is called the real life. So we have to make a distinction between the two. And what compliments, what comments you get, especially in your virtual life, is basically your virtual world, and it doesn't represent you at all.
Yes.
In reality, right? What is exactly that matters to us? The real life. So this is the distinction which I want the audience to make, and thereafter they will be more focused on their real life than their virtual life. Third important thing, as I've talked about, is escapist. As a this instrument, this particular device, as an instrument to help us escape from all those fears, right? Now we have to realize this very part very carefully, because we humans and psychologically we are always feeling threatened about our survivability. So, for example, when we go out of a home for our employment purpose, just living far away from our family members, then obviously we need some friends. We cannot develop a trust on some strangers right away. So we have to have something with us. Some people go and just start rearing some pet animals. Some people have this devices, the pet device, and they use it according to their wishes, whims, and fancies. But they must have this realization that these devices should not be dominating on them. They should not play a dominant role on your life. So that, for example, you have just with this revealed this very society that she couldn't even afford someone's her followers were on decline. What it means that she couldn't realize the essence of life. She really was not in touch with the real life.
At least you are alive.
Yes.
So it's a big,
every sunrise that you experience every morning is a new life for you.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing. So every day is a new day. And when you are too much involved and engrossed in this particular digital world, you really don't know what exactly real thing is. Because if you know what life is, then you will really know that everything is temporary.
Yeah.
Your suffering is also temporary. Your success is also temporary. So when you have this realization, I don't think people would even think of committing suicide.
Yeah.
So these are the basic, takeaways, according to me, that people should focus about, and this is only possible when they will try to be more observationist. And remember, if there is one resistance which is really causing us this very part of the real life, it's just because it's this digital devices, right? Because it is really impeding us to be a part of the real life. It is really causing us to observe things around us because it is somewhere attracting too much into the devices and somewhere diverting our focus from the real time observation to the virtual observation. I think virtual observation is nothing but just a figment which may give you some good feelings, which may give you some excitement, hormonal upsurge, but this is all temporary. But once you get in touch with the real life, leaving your cell phone aside, then you realize what is reality, and this is what is basically the fact, and you have to stand by it.
One more thing I would love to say is that if you don't have digital presence, doesn't mean that the entire world has come to an end, right? And I don't think that we need to know everything about the whole world, what's happening in this world. We don't really need to know everything that's going around. Our life is not going to be affected if we don't know anything about this. Even, if I talk about myself, in my family, we bought a television when I was in class 12. Until then, there was no television in our home, and every life was really fine. And I didn't have my phone when I passed my university, and I did 2 years job. I didn't have any phone at all. Life was really fine. There was no problem at all. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to be knowing everything, what's going, what's happening in the people's lives. It doesn't actually should not be caring too much. One more thing that whatever you see on social media or the devices, that is not the reality, because people are always sharing the best moments of their lives. Nobody's sharing what's happening behind the scenes. Nobody knows that actually, and they would not even love to share that with you. And even though somebody does, then I think he should not be feeling so much depressed right? Because you don't know whether the person's intentions is right or wrong. We cannot say even whatever the person is trying to show, maybe just a fictitious story, right? So if you know the reality, I think and digital detoxification is not going to be that hard for you. And if you can do that successfully, your life is really going to be nice because you will then have the real connections. We lose real connections just because we want to connect with people who are sitting miles away from us, and we lose and we miss out on the beauty which is there actually around us, and the beauty of the connections, the real connections that we have. So with this, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I'll be seeing you in the next video with another topic of discussion. Right till then, take care.